Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the A Collision with Purpose project under the spotlight. Here, individuals are allowed to explore themselves in pursuit of their purpose. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and I'm your host. The A Collision with Purpose project allows individuals to pause, take a quiet moment, and listen. Be introspective and engage self-reflection in pursuing their purpose to unleash possibilities with far-reaching implications for self and others. Today, the Collision with Purpose project spotlight is on Mr. Gene Johnson. Mr. Johnson is a Christian. He's a father, an uncle, a divorcee, a peace officer, and a best-selling author. Let us welcome Mr. Johnson to the Collision with Purpose project on the spotlight.
Hello, everybody. Of course, my name is Gene. I know it's not the masculine Gene, but nevertheless, I'm still Gene inside and out. Glad to meet your acquaintances, and I'm looking forward to sharing my stories with you.
Mr. Johnson, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Collision with Purpose project on the spotlight. I'm looking forward to an engaging, insightful, and interactive conversation with you about a topic which is arguably one of the most consequential concepts in forming how we function as individuals and ultimately what we perceive as our legacy.
You know, that is one of the most underused statements in life, as far as I'm concerned. Legacy. So many people abuse it, and it's really time that we start understanding the importance of legacy, because legacy continues on for generations and generations.
And indeed, legacy is your purpose fulfilled, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, Gene, today I'm going to ask you a series of questions relating to purpose. You ready to do it?
Of course, let's go.
Let's make it happen. So, Gene, take me back to your early days. What was it like? What was life like?
Uh, well, one, I'm a survivor because I survived the things in my early days. Because one of the first experiences I can remember is my mom's just having a younger brother, 20 months younger than me. And I was in the room with him. My elder brother, which you'll hear a lot about, grabbed our brother's hand and bit him. And when my mother came in, I was introduced to the wall. So from then on, I knew it was going to be a hard life.
Introduced to the wall, huh?
hmm As a kid, I'm, like I said, 22 months old. So I could imagine a mother hear her child crying and you're the only one next to the crib. You was going to get the swift justice. And I call it Johnson justice because there was no mediation, there was no compromise. It was just inflicted by judge and jury, which was my mother at the time.
So more about your early days, siblings, parents.
Okay. My mother was Cora Ocasio, the only daughter of my grandmother, Cora Lee Ocasio McVinnocent, born in Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia, in 1905. She was one of 12 kids. After growing up with so many kids, my grandmother was like, she wasn't going to have a lot of kids. One was enough, and it was my mother. She met my father at the age of 18, had 3 kids in 5 years, and that composed the component of that family. My father, he had, well, 9 kids that I know of from 3 different mothers, but nevertheless, my grandmother still invited them into our household because she said, those are your brothers. Those are not your half brothers. Those are not your half sisters. Those are your brothers. Look after them and take care of them.
And you yourself, you have 2 children, but you told me earlier that you're the father of many children.
Yes, sir. I have a son, Gene. I'm affectionately known as Big Gene. He's Little Gene. So when you say Gene in the household, we both answer. That's our little joke. And then my daughter, Jashira, born on September 11th, 2000. Those are my 2 kids. I love them to death, and there's not anything I wouldn't do for them.
So, Gene, we're going to talk about purpose today, as stated earlier. So I believe that any conversation about purpose should begin with a definition. I'm going to ask you to define purpose, but do so in a general way.
per wow, I gotta use purpose to define purpose. Purpose is having a direction or intended destination of something you would like to do or like to accomplish and share. Like we just don't live to say go to work. You know, we just don't live to have fun. We live to have something to do and impart and carry on, especially when you're not here anymore.
Mm. Especially when you're not here anymore. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about legacy a little bit later in our conversation. So, Jane, tell me, what is your purpose?
Again, everything is a reflection of the things that I went through as a child. And even though I had a family, I felt like I didn't have anybody to really help me. So, I mean, as I navigated the course of adolescence, teenage, young adult, and even to now, I see that people need help. So like I really make it my business to go out my way to help people because I never want them to feel like I felt with wandering aimlessly and not having somebody to help me.
Your desire to help people, to make it make that your purpose, is that because of something that happened early in your life? What informs that?
Well, um, like like what I said about my mother, Johnson Justice, when I tell you, you know, my grandmother knew, like my aunt knew, my uncle knew, my mom's cousins, like they knew like the abuse we was getting. And I know it's considered tough love back then, and they was doing the best they could do, how they knew how to do it. But if one of them would have helped, it would have possibly changed it to make it a little more tenderly, you know, and to know that you have a large family and no one intervened, it showed that like, yo, look, we need to help each other because helping each other makes us go further.